Alright guys, welcome to another episode of ARWP, the All Real Wrestling Podcast. I am your host, Eric Novak, and today we have a special guest. He is Mysterious Q. I hope you guys enjoy this video. I know you will. So, let's go with the first question, and that is, what made you fall in love with wrestling?
Ever since I can remember, I always been fascinated by wrestling, man. I don't know if it was the colors, but it was just something about it that just grabbed you. So growing up, that was just the normal to always put wrestling first before anything that I was watching at the time.
All right. So, let's go with, what was your first ever wrestling experience?
I think my grandmother took me down to Mid-South, down in New Orleans, I think it was. And or it may have been a WCW house show. But I remember this band pulling up, and in it had Stone Cold, Flying Brian. I think Z-Man was in that truck. I remember the main event that night was Sting and Rick Rude. And it was pretty dope because at the end, Sting's just laying there. I never saw anything past a commercial break, or hey, the match ended, they cut to something else, and Sting's just laying there for the longest time, just selling it. We're all "Do we leave yet?" Or when is he gonna get up? And he's "Nah, we gotta go." So that was my first personal experience with wrestling.
All right. So my main question that I want to know is, why do you wear a mask in the ring?
At first, it wasn't my idea. With a lot of things in my career, as you'll hear, I kind of wanted to go with face paint because at the time, SmackDown vs. Raw was out. I think it was 2006, and the online community was real dope in there. So I would create online characters, and I was I could make this come to life. So I wanted to use face paint, and I wasn't that good at art at the time. And Tug was "Nah," my trainer. He was "Nah, we need to do something else." So the guy who came up with the Q gimmick was just "Hey, we'll put you in a mask because you'll be a referee, but then you'll come out in a mask and be a split personality." So I just took that idea and I ran with it, and it just kept growing. So I just stuck with the mask.
Did you design the mask, or did someone else design it for you?
I designed all my masks. Yeah,
that's awesome.
It was my first one was a play off of Teeny Obelisk, and I just added things to it. And then from there, it just transformed. And the current one I have now is just a homage to Hayabusa, because he was one of my biggest motivators, getting in the when I first started wrestling.
All right. So every wrestler has to go through their own journey and experience when becoming a wrestler, because you have to give up a lot for it. How did your family react to when you told them you want to become a wrestler?
I don't know, wrestling's big in the family, so it's just kind of my mom was it was about time, and my dad, he was proud. There was a lot of people in my family who kind of came on later, and they were just "Oh, I'm so proud of you, you should have done this." So I had a good support system to it with my mom. Well, it could have pretty much just been my mom and my grandmother. So.
All right. I mean, that's cool. It's cool that you have a supportive, family, and a lot of them enjoy what you're doing. So that's really cool. So, biggest inspiration in wrestling. So this could be a wrestler. It has to be around wrestling. It could be a wrestler. It could be a trainer. It could be anything. But what inspired you to do what you do today?
Talking the truth.
Go for it, man. Go for it. We're not hiding anything here.
All right, so I think I graduated, and to give a little backstory, I went through high school, freshman to senior year. First half of senior year, an all-boys school. So I got relocated, and I came to Houston, and I went to a co-ed school. So I was just oh snap, girls. And it was one chick, man. Like, man, that was like the one that got away. And my plan, because No Mercy was in town. It was the No Mercy where Eddie fought Batista
Mm-hmm.
when Eddie was trying to be on the good side. And I remember seeing the commercial when they were promoting the event, and I was just like, that's what I'll do. I'll become a wrestler, and I'll make it big, so that way, like, one day I'll be promoted on one of these commercials, and she'll see me, and she'll remember me, and she'll reach out to me.
All right.
It still hadn't happened yet, but I mean,
We're waiting. We're still waiting.
yeah, still waiting.
All right. So I know I just asked you that, but try to figure this one out. Top three out of ring inspirations. So it could be family. It could be anything, even a show, a pay per view, a match that just inspired you.
Um, my mom,
Mm-hmm.
definitely. Well, I'll say family because my mom and my niece. Um, family. Um, Michael Jordan. Um, what else, man? That's kind of the spot.
I mean, it's cool. I mean, look, I'm not trying to make you, think really hard about it. You just anything.
But it was a good question. But yeah, I'm trying to think.
Go for it. Go for
Outside
it.
of everything, it was always like my mom, my niece, and my nephew. But there are like other motivating factors and bragging rights, man. To be honest, yeah.
Baby, yeah. I gotta ask only because a lot of wrestlers commented, when Kobe passed. Jordan is a big inspiration to you. Can you explain to me why? Can you explain to me why he?
Growing up, like, man, Jordan was like everywhere. I was almost to the point where I couldn't stand him. Like there was a point like I was good with him, and then that second year where they played, no, the first year they played the Jazz, so I was like, I don't like him. I don't like him no more. I just want it to be different.
Mm-hmm.
But he was big, man, and just to know that, I think, especially with everything going on now with the documentary, to think that you can get that big just off of hard work that you put in. Like, your skills and talents could be that appreciated and that recognized and well known to bring you up to like that type of level. So it's like, man, like if he could do that, then like maybe I could try to do that in whatever field that I'm in.
Mm-hmm. All right, that's awesome. So, the reality of wrestling seems to be the spot where a lot of really talented people go. Like a lot of really talented wrestlers go there and then become really big. How did that first opportunity come to you? How did you find reality of wrestling?
Um, Actually, like they kind of found me because I knew like a lot of the guys through there. Because
Mm-hmm.
I came to Booker's previously just to train when he was PWA,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know, like I wasn't in a good spot at that time, like in my life personally, and like mentally I was just all over. I was a kid, so
Mm-hmm.
that we kind of didn't like I didn't go like forward with him, and so at the time I quit wrestling, and Kevin Bernhardt, which is like the producer there, he's the booker, and he every time I would hang out with them, they would say, "Come back, man, come back, come back," and I'm just like, nah. So it got to a point where I was like, I'm gonna stop hanging out with y'all because every time I hang out with y'all steady pressuring me to come back to wrestling, like I don't. And he caught me one day, like right after I was just like talking with some friends, like trying to stunt, like, oh, I used to wrestle, but like I'm done. He
Mm-hmm.
was like, just so happened, he was like, all right, last chance, bro. Like, this is the scenario. Like, we would love for you to come in. And I was like, man, yeah. Like, what the hell I do? And like everything just clicked. Like, I think I've been out the business at a year or 2 years at that point,
Mm-hmm.
and everything just clicked. And book liked me, and he was just like, what's your goals for this business? And it just took off from there.
All right, awesome. All right, so not so long ago, and I loved that match. I watched it. It was amazing. Not so long ago, you had a cage match with Falaba. You won that match. Spoiler
Yeah.
alert for anyone who hasn't seen it yet. Tell me, how you felt, because Falaba is a high talent wrestling for Impact Wrestling. it was
Yeah.
definitely had to be an experience going in there and out.
Hell yeah, it was. Because, man, start off, like, I didn't like him at first. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
did not. And it wasn't just him. It was just, like, the idea. Because he came in, beat me, took my title. And, like, this was so cool about it, though. Like, when he beat me, like, the audience was just silent. Like,
Mm-hmm.
nothing. And I was like, okay. Then he took my mask. And I was just like, okay, we're doing this. But going into that match, man, we both were nervous as hell, dude. We were so nervous, like super nervous. And I remember like not fighting, but just kind of like trying to like weigh the options of like what the finish could have been. And Booker till this day will say he told me not to jump off the cage.
Mm-hmm.
He said that didn't have to be the finish. Like if you could find something else, find something else. And but going in there, like, I was so nervous because I didn't have my mask. So, like, if you look at the entrance, it is so cringeworthy. Like, oh, just mean mugging. It was trash. But what saved that match, Fowler was coming in the ring. Like, they positioned the steps to go flush against the ring. So there's that divot,
Mm-hmm.
the steps that puts it against the post. So that hole is open. And so Fowler goes to walk in the ring. He's mean mugging, all in character. Ah! Steps, goes right through that hole, takes a fall. Boom. So he's stuck in that hole. And like from that moment, all the tension like left. But in my head, I was like, oh man, this match is over, bro. Like we're not even starting. I'm trying not to break character. And I sort of turn away and I'm laughing. And like the crowd on that side sees it and they laugh. And he hops in and he has this look like he's in character, but he wants to laugh, and we lock eyes, and it's like we're laughing, and like from that moment, like the match was easy. We're not just talking about like random shit.
While grappling, you're just like, yo, you okay? Yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah, so it was a good match, man. Like looking back on it, yeah, I had some fun with him. Although I didn't like him at first.
No, I mean, I wouldn't too. My man stole your mask. You don't do that. All right, so follow up question. You told me experience with Fala. Have you had more experience in similar matches with big guys like that, or even cage matches in general?
Um, actually, like my second match was a cage match.
Really?
I've had like a few cage matches at that time because Bob Murphy at Texas All Star Wrestling down here in Houston, he would have like some events where it would just be like all cage matches for the night. So I've had cage matches, but I've never like got to the point where when I had my first cage match at Raw with Samoan Beast, because he was a big dude, and it wasn't until like that atmosphere where I was just like, okay, I'm gonna do something off the cage, because Book, we were sitting watching an episode at Book's house, and he like kind of sits back, and he like somebody jumped off the cage, and like he looked, and he was like, "Q, can you do a 450 off the cage?" And he started just laughing like he was joking, and Charmel told him like, "Stop playing like that." And in my head, I was like, "Nah, I could do this." So like, it wasn't until like that era where I was like, "All right, cool, like." Let me try to step up in cage matches. So that was the first time I jumped off the top in that first cage match I wrote. And the second time was the one against Fowler, which I had planned, like going up there, I was like, let me see if I could do a Phoenix. But for some reason, like my body just turned around and faced him, and I was like, well, 450 off the cage. So.
Gotta get creative.
Yeah.
All right. So, tell me where you first trained. Was it at home? Were you just doing like workouts, or was it like an actual school that
As far as wrestling?
Yeah.
Well, I'm pretty sure like everybody at some point had like a backyard fed going when they had like kids. But like my first like introduction to the business was down here in Houston, Texas, from Tugboat Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I started to train, and he trained me within 3 weeks. I was like ready for like a match, and broke my wrist. So that killed everything. fall on my neck, I put my wrist out there, and I broke my wrist. So like I was out for like 6 months with it because I
Mm-hmm.
didn't want to get surgery. So I had a cast, and I was still training, and I kind of went to like one TNA seminar around that time. Like I was maybe like 4 weeks in business. I mean, not in 4 months in business, and everything was good there. And that's when like I got like, all right, cool, like confidence, like all right, I can do this. But yeah, Tugboat was the first school that I trained at.
Wow. Um. So I'm curious. This is basically like an I'm curious question. Did you have a different ring name at the time when you were like starting out?
No, I was always cute. Like I started as a referee,
Mm-hmm.
and
Really? Tell us about that. Tell us the
yeah,
experience.
I was more nervous going out as a referee for the first time than going out for my first match.
Mm-hmm.
So um, it was. I mean, that's how they start you off. Like you're like even like in training, like they'll be like hop in there and ref it. So like
Mm-hmm.
it's not like you need like rules to do it if you've been watching it. Like you know everything. So Tug's idea was go out there and be a ref so you could get used to being out there in front of the crowd. So like it didn't last long. Like I was a ref for maybe like 5 months while like my wrist was healing.
Mm-hmm.
And from there that's when his name was Buster Time. He gave me like this. He was like, "You're gonna be cute. Like you're gonna be like the referee, but then like run back and then run out with this mask like Clark Kent, Superman type deal, and beat people up." So yeah, that was like my experience as a ref, man.
Hey man, you know it's really. I had a referee back a couple interviews ago, and that was a whole different dialogue when it came to other wrestlers. Because when you're a referee, you have actual rules and responsibility that wrestlers don't have. A lot of wrestlers rely on the referee to keep
Yeah.
them intact. So when you're a referee, it's a lot of pressure, it's a lot of work. Plus, you were just starting out, so it's always amazing to hear a starting out story.
Yeah.
But we talked about your past. Let's get to your future. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Do you see yourself as a big name in a huge company, or do you see yourself as still getting your name out in the independent scene?
I mean, if you're thinking like glass full, like hopefully I'll be signed somewhere.
No,
I'll
I
be
mean,
signed somewhere making having like a good impact on the business and those around me because that's kind of what I want to do. Realistically, I might still be. I mean, I'll be like probably like a big name on the indie circuit. Like,
I mean, you already are a big name in the industry. I'm a huge indie fan more than company names, and your name comes out. Like I watched your match against Chris Bay for the title, and I'm pretty
oh
sure you
yeah,
won that match, right? You won that match. Amazing match, 5 stars. You are a big name in the indie circuit already.
I mean, I keep that in mind, bro. Because at times, like, I don't feel that, man. Like, I just see everything that's going around and like the props that people get, and I'm like, and I don't shit on people, but like some people, I'm like, I don't see it. Other people, I'm like, okay, yeah, like I need to step my game up because of him. So like, shout out to Chris Bay because he's one of them. Like, first time I saw him, I was just like, all right, like he can do some shit.
Mm-hmm.
And also like Gino, man, like it's crazy like how much he gets it, and like other people like Ryan Davidson, like by far best promo guy like out there, like top 5, like and that's putting him in the field with signed talent, non-signed talent. So
Mm-hmm.
like there's like a lot out there that I see, and I'm just like, man, like I'm not to that level, man. Like until I'm like getting vice pay, like okay, we'll book you and like send you out, then okay, like that's how I feel like I have good talent.
What I've learned by interviewing a few wrestlers is that a lot of wrestlers don't see themselves as, oh, I'm not that good. I'm not at that level. A lot of wrestlers do bring themselves down like that. I get why. It's a really hard job, and it's never going to be perfect. There's always going to be, issues. But, watching your matches, again, as an independent, I know everything about independence and I follow it. You're definitely one of the most talented independent wrestlers out there today. So you shouldn't think that you're not at that level. I could see you going to NWA, I could see you going to MLW, Impact, by the next 2 years, by next year, I definitely see you going to a small company getting yourself up to AEW, WWE, NXT. Um, so let's talk about skill. Speed, power, and other qualities are involved with wrestlers. What are your strong suits? What do you think you have in a agile or fast paced?
Um, I like to think, man, I was for my size, like super versatile, man. So like I can play like the big guy role. Um, I could go lucha. Like I'm not as big a fan on flips because Hayabusa got like super screwed from
Mm-hmm.
backflips. So like I stay away from backflips. Um, I would, I would say like versatility. Like I don't have like one like strong suit. I mean, I would say like at a time like I had speed and like footwork, but as you get bigger, it's kind of like that gravity starts to like take its place.
Mm-hmm.
But I just had like an all around versatility, man. Like I could go lucha, I could go like high flying, I could go powerhouse. So
I see yourself as a powerhouse. I see yourself because when you're in the ring with someone, you're the guy they're trying to get away from. Because you're the bigger guy in the matches. But yeah, I could see you more as the powerhouse. So speaking of lucha, there was a show that's what I grew up watching, and one of the first wrestlings was Lucha Underground. Have
yeah.
you got any interest in Lucha Underground? Has that inspired you in any way?
So I heard of Lucha Underground when it was happening, and I was kind of like, yeah, I wasn't too big on it. But
Mm-hmm.
I saw it at the time, like, oh, I could go and do that as my character. Um, but funny story is that I ended up last summer. Um, Vampiro got in touch with me and like a few other guys, and he was starting up. And at the moment, he was going to start up a Fed out there in Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
And he let it be known that it wasn't the next Lucha Underground. It wasn't Lucha Underground. Lucha Underground was dead, but it was something along like that line. So like pretty much, I mean, I was almost close to something like Lucha Underground, but those plans fell through. That's a lot of things in this business do.
Yeah.
So
Look, everything happens for a reason. Who knows? Like I said, you'll be in a company by next year. So,
yeah,
you know, speaking of companies, I feel like this is too early, but I'll ask anyways because we're already in the conversation. Where do you see yourself starting out? So not ending, not finishing a career. What company would you want to start right now? If I gave you a contract for every company that's literally NWA, MLW, everywhere, but it's your first starting company. So of course you're gonna bounce around like all wrestlers do. All wrestlers bounce around to get their name everywhere. Where would you like to start?
um, judging from like some of the people like I spoke to, and just seeing how things go like in the whole big scheme of things and like the layout for wrestling as a
Mm-hmm.
whole and character development, um, Impact would
Impact
probably,
Wrestling.
yeah, Impact, because it seems like you could go. I mean, and they're doing very good now.
No,
Like,
yeah.
so with the talent that's coming up, um, it's like you could do Impact. You have the TV platform, so you have footage there,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can still go out and do your indie bookings, your indie shots.
Yeah.
So that seems like the most beneficial to where like you can still build your brand because not everything lasts forever. So like you could be building your brand on both ends from Impact, what it seems to me.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree with you. I love Impact. It's probably my favorite wrestling company right now, due to the stars they have and the talent they have. And I can already see you in some amazing dream matches. But I'm not gonna tell you my dream matches. I want to hear yours. So give me 5 wrestlers that you would want to face in Impact that you haven't faced yet.
In Impact
Yeah.
that I haven't faced, Gaga,
Mm-hmm.
um, no, wrestled him. Wrestled him.
Your independence seems huge. You must have wrestled a lot in them.
Yeah. Daga, RVD.
Mm-hmm.
Um, um, maybe Sammy.
Sammy Callahan. Okay.
Um, throw it out. I mean, it's a new. Kylie and Tessa.
Yeah, good picks. I was thinking like the lines around Michael Elgin. I thought you and Elgin would have an amazing match. If you haven't had it yet, I thought Brian Cage, if he's still for Impact, I thought you and him
We
because
still, yeah.
right now it's one of those things where it's like you have to just wait and see where he's gonna come out. If he's gonna come out of like he's injured, so when he comes out of injury, we'll see where he's gonna be. But if he's still in Impact, I think you and Cage would be
Actually, yeah.
an
I forgot
amazing
about
match. Um, I know you could work well with smaller guys. I think you and TJP would have a pretty good match. He's a
Oh,
technical.
is he there?
He's there right now. Yeah, TJP is texting with Fala right now.
Oh yeah, well, I'll put him in there. I'll take out Tesla and put TJP in there.
TJP. A lot of fans are gonna like that because I have a lot of TJP fans in this watching this right now.
Yeah, of course.
All right, so let's take you back again to the past. You're a kid. What are your 3 favorite matches growing up? Like it could be anything. It could be from
So
now too, if you're still
I already
watching.
know.
You already know it. Let's go.
Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart WrestleMania 12, the Iron
Okay.
Man match. Um, WrestleMania 17, the TLC, the Hardys. No, was
Okay.
it TLC,
Edge,
Hardys,
Edge and Christian, Dudley's.
yeah,
Those. Yeah. Okay.
and Hogan Warrior, WrestleMania
Okay.
5.
That's a good one. All right. Um. So I kind of already asked what's your quality, where you're gonna go. So I'm gonna ask you if you've been there. Have you been to FSW, the Future Stars of Wrestling?
No, I haven't.
Would you want to go there?
Hell yeah. Well, I've actually spoke to some people, and I talked to Chris, and he was just Chris Bay,
Hmm.
and he was like, "Yeah, whenever you're in town, man, like I could probably 100% get you booked."
I'm not gonna lie to you. Since I've been like watching the entire Indies, I believe FSW is the one of the indie companies that came from actual like just independent scene and are making themselves so big as a pay-per-view actually because Fight TV airs all their mechas and you forget that they're independent scene at one point because they're just doing so very well.
Oh yeah, I ran into like a few of those guys when I was in when I did the deal in Vegas,
Mm-hmm.
and like I even tagged with shout out to Shogun Jones. Like,
Shogun. He was
yeah,
just on Gut Check, right?
was he?
He was on Gut. I think he won Gut Check actually.
Oh yeah, like that dude, his gimmick and stuff, dude. Like somebody who like Booker would love him. Like
Mm-hmm.
if he was ever down, Booker would love him. There's a guy, Shaggy McLovin.
He's on FSW, yeah.
Dude, yeah, so creative. That dude's good. Him and probably like the funniest, like most charismatic dude. Shout out to this dude too, Ice Williams.
Mm-hmm.
Like, dude is so like so charismatic and funny. So like, I know like a few of their talents. So like, I know like the quality that they have over there.
All right. All right. Yeah, but those are those all 3 of those talents are phenomenal what they're doing right now. All right, so I asked you where do you want to start off. Now I'm gonna ask you where do you want to end your like. It's the saddest question because it's like even you at this point might not know where you want to be, but it's like as like just think about it now. What company do you think you'd want to end like be named and end there? Now, with saying that, does your character mean a lot to you? As in the fact where if a company doesn't let you be that character, will you change for the company or will you leave the company if that's the case?
I mean, I'm always for the business, so like I would always give whoever giving a suggestion if they're over it the benefit of the doubt that they have was best for like the company and for my interests. Because I mean that's how it is now. Like my character now at Rogue is totally different from Series Q.
Mm-hmm.
So like a whole new character. So like because things change, I'm open to change. So if anywhere like I was gonna go wanted to like kill anything, then I was all for it. With that being said, I don't know, man, because the landscape could change, man. Like, I mean, typically you would want WWE because that's the bigger platform. That's the end all be all.
Mm-hmm.
But like, we don't know. Because I think like I got like maybe like 19 more years left, maybe 20. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And then at that time, like I don't know if AEW rises up or Japan just New Japan just blows up.
Mm-hmm. Where would you like to where would you like to go out of those if that was the case? Let's say today I'm
New
offering
games,
you.
like, or where I like to go?
Yeah.
I would like to go to all of them. Like Japan
Obviously,
is
but
first.
obviously, but
Yeah.
where's the place that you're like, I want to go here? Reasons, like actual big name, like if I give you a pro and con list, think about like a list. What's a company that stands out from all of them? You know, like you got WWE. That's what every wrestler grew up watching. Got something like AEW gives every talent the spotlight. Makes sure every talent is getting a face and getting known. Or New Japan, making the best matches possible without any real segments. Like I love New Japan. I think if I ever had to give a favorite match, be a New Japan match because these guys fight to the point where they literally can't fight
Yeah.
no more. So
Yeah.
everything has its own standards. So if it was up to you, where would you?
Probably New Japan.
New
Then. If
Japan.
I had to put it like that, New Japan. Yeah.
Now I gotta ask. See, I'm annoying about this. What are three guys you'd face in New Japan if you had the chance?
Osprey.
Of course, love that.
Man, that's tough.
Yeah, there's so much talent.
Damn. I don't. Damn. We'll say okay for sure. Osprey. Like
Okay.
keep saying the thing, dude.
Well, he's amazing. He's definitely like
Yeah,
top
'cause
three independent
I
guys.
fail right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I mean I wasn't like that big of a fan of him, but like because he's up there, Okada.
Okada. That's definitely a dream match I'd see because you guys are probably the same size and it'd be a powerhouse match. That'd be interesting.
Yeah. What's the man? Who was the guy? Oh, Naito.
Naito. Do you watch New Japan right now? Like currently, are you watching?
Not currently, no.
No?
Not like religiously.
He's
so I'll
like-
catch, like big.
Naito just won the Wrestle Kingdom match. It was a 2-night event. He took
Okay,
both
I saw that.
titles, and the crowd was insane. I've never seen a reaction like that. Everyone in the crowd went crazy for when he won the 2 titles. He's like the most hyped guy right
That's
now.
crazy how it works, right? Because like before, when they was trying to push him, like nothing, like he
Mhm.
wasn't getting like any respect from the crowd. And,
Yeah,
like goes to Mexico for a while, comes back with this like
Lij. Yeah.
this gimmick, and now like just taking over.
Yeah, that's what it is. But I feel like what New Japan is, they give every wrestler a spotlight. They get like no matter who you are, they'll give you the spotlight. Doesn't know how long it's gonna be, but you will have an amazing victory, and the crowd will see it. But then they'll forget about it's not like every other company where it's like you guys are champs. We want the eyes all on you. You're the main event. When you got something in New Japan, every wrestler will become a main eventer because that's what they're looking for. Like you got Shingo. Do you know who Shingo is?
Yeah, no Shingo.
You got Shingo and the Super Junior Cup. I don't know if it's a cup, but it was one of it. It was one of the Super Juniors, and he was undefeated in the Super Juniors. He went days undefeated, and then he lost it to Osprey at the final. But it's like no one was mad about that. It's probably one of my favorite matches of all time because they fought for a good 2 hours, and other than that, Shingo was hyped up to be undefeated. He lost there, and the crowd went crazy. Even when he lost, people were still going crazy saying his name. That's why New Japan's definitely one of the people don't really know New Japan that much, which is crazy.
Yeah. They don't get much like they were coming down here for a while when they did those
U.S. tours, yeah.
Yeah, the U.S. tours, and I was like, okay, like they're getting there. But when some people kind of jumped ship and started AEW, they kind of.
How do you feel about AEW? If you had to be honest about it.
It's just starting out, so like it's new. I was all on board because they were signing like some of my friends. Like Kylie got signed. Sammy was signed, a new Sammy, a new Archer, Lance Archer. So like. It's just weird to you see like the people like and it's kind of like they made it there. So like there's hope. So like I look at it as like they're the company who started off giving. Granted, those people are already stars, but like they gave them a chance and was like, "Here, you can run with this." So I mean, I like AEW, so like I'm not against it. I mean, it's weird. There's different styles. You can see it. Like there's like the. like this WWE type style, like where they try to get like the storytelling and stuff across. Then there's like the New Japan. I don't say like New Japan, but the like the high indie quality style
Yeah,
matches.
they're trying to push all the things. They want to give you segments. They want to give you matches. Like recently, it was a Kenny Omega versus one of
Yeah.
the Trent Beretta. There was no segment to that, but it was an amazing match. I see what they're trying to do, and I see what you're trying to say. Yeah, it's definitely opening up doors. Who would you want to face in AEW that you haven't faced yet?
Kenny, Phoenix, Ray Phoenix. Who else? Yeah.
they got a lot of talent up in there.
The Cody. I want to work Cody.
Yeah, you never worked with Cody. He never did in the show.
I've never even been in the same. Well, I mean, I've done extra work in WWE and like we did a segment with him, but aside from that, like I've never been like in the same venue as Cody.
All right, well, I would love to see that match between you and Cody. That's definitely one of the dream matches for me. All right, so we talked about New Japan, we talked about AEW, we talked about Impact. Let's go to WWE. Where in particular would you like to be in WWE? Raw, SmackDown, NXT. Not gonna say 205, but like in general.
I don't know. Eventually, I know I would start off in NXT. Yeah, probably NXT because, well, no, they'll be selling myself short. Like,
well, I don't know about that. I would disagree about that because with the fan base right now, people like Charlotte Flair, who did everything in Raw, everything in SmackDown, wanted to go back to NXT because that's where all the viewers are. NXT is apparently a lot bigger in ratings than Raw and SmackDown right now. So when people go to NXT, they have to push more than Raw and SmackDown. Raw and SmackDown only has like 4 guys that they're really focusing on. Then everyone else is just jobbering at that point. And I'm surprised about that because you have people like Ricochet and Cedric Alexander who are phenomenal talents losing to the Viking Raiders. Like the base it like flipped over. It's very hard to say I want to go on Raw and SmackDown when if you're not the top talent, they'll overlook you and they'll put you in the back. That's what's hard about it.
That's what, like, I would say, like, I was selling myself short because, like, if you, like, for example, you said, like, Charlotte Flair goes back to NXT. Charlotte has the star power now. But, like, I wouldn't mind going to NXT just, like, to get the feel of things, but, like, in the grand scheme of it, like, and seeing myself, like, all right, I could be, like, a top name somewhere. I could make, like, a difference to, like, whichever brand I'm on. I would probably be, like, yeah, like, Raw, SmackDown. But starting off, like, NXT, so...
Do you know Austin Theory?
Hell yeah, no.
Have you wrestled him ever? Have you wrestled him?
No, I wanted to. The plan was in motion for us to like work. Like the promoter was messaging like this guy who was in the stable with him, and he was like, well, he just like officially like got signed, and I was like,
wow.
It happened like in a span of like 3 people. Like I was like, all right, let me work this person. They all just got signed, and I was like,
that means your spot's coming. That means one day it's gonna be like, oh, I'm ready to work with Mysterious. What do you mean he got signed? And that's gonna happen. Just wait. But the reason why I brought up Theory is because he was like a perfect example of what NXT means. Like he went to NXT. He had some good few matches with a lot of really good. So he had a match with Tyler Breeze that was really good. He was Tyler Breeze is like a veteran in NXT. So he had a really great match. Then, he got jobbered with Ciampa. He got thrown around a lot. And then immediately he went straight to Raw and got a WrestleMania moment during this year's WrestleMania. Yeah. So it's like, I don't want to say careless, but it's so hard to be like, if I start with NXT, I'm going to go straight to Raw and SmackDown because it's like, they change everything. It's not like what it used to be where it's like NXT is going to stay there. Triple H is going to handle that until he feels like they're ready to go spread their wings. People like Austin Theory who just made it to NXT in less than a few months go straight to WrestleMania. It's like so bizarre in ways.
Well, yeah, but like I don't know if you ever been like in the room with Austin or like just like my first time seeing him, like I always heard of him, and then like I saw him work and like I was popping like yo, like this dude on another level, like damn, and he just oozes like a presence, like when he walks around like in the back, like it's just professionalism and like he holds this aura about him. So like from what I heard, like Heyman saw something in him, which I mean he has it there, and like he's like young and he's up there on that level, just doing it. So like I don't know, like he has something in
No, yeah, I
somebody
agree.
like
He's very
yeah
talented. He made a big name for himself in Evolve Wrestling. Have you ever
yeah.
appeared in Evolve?
Never. I was
Never.
just told like I should probably start doing like the seminars, because that's the thing. Like with the exception of like the TNA seminar I did when I first like started like a few months in the business, like I never like done a seminar. Like never went to a seminar to, because I thought it was just like cash grabs, and now I'm hearing like people are saying like, nah, I did this seminar, I did that seminar, and I'm seeing that's how you make connections and network.
Yeah. It
Also gets
definitely changed in that way. At one point, it was like, yeah, it was all like, you do it, give them the money, they never call you back. Like,
yeah, hear nothing from
it was at that point. Now, slowly, like I know people like Project Monix who did a couple seminars and went to Evolve immediately. Matt Seidel went to Evolve. You know, a lot of talent are doing the seminars and going straight to Evolve. I think that now wrestling independent scenes opened up a lot more. Where I
It
think
has,
now it's more trusting to like go like FSW, do a seminar with them. I'm 100% sure they're looking at you now at that point.
yeah.
All right. So we went through all the companies, went through everything. Now I want to ask you from the bottom of your heart to really think straight. Give me 3 matches that mean so much to you that you were a part of.
That I was a part of.
Yeah.
Man, it's hard to think. Start the first cage match that I wrestled with Samoan Beast at Raw. There was the first match I wrestled without a mask as a heel character with Will Alday. And the Chris Bay match.
Yeah, that one's definitely one of my top favorites that you were a part of. That match was so crazy because like at the end, the back and forth that got me like dripping off my seat because it was like, oh, he just got that off. Oh, he got that offense. Like it was crazy at that point when you guys hit that. So, why those 3 matches? You gave me the matches. Now I'll give the reasoning.
The first one was because my grandmother had died like right like before like going into that match, and the funeral was like that weekend of the show, like I think like the day before the show, and it was in Cali, and I was just like, I was getting like real life heat because I wasn't going up there. I stuck to do the show. And, I remember like almost backing out of the show, and then like Book called me and like we talked for a while, and I talked to like 3 other people, and I was like, nah, I'm gonna just do the show. So like that match was like for her. And not to mention, like, that was the match, like, I came out with DDP to, like, DDP's WCW theme music, which I was a big mark for. So that's the reason for that one. The one with All Day was, one, because I just don't like that dude. No, because it was just, like, my first match, like, as a heel without a mask. So, like, I just felt naked. And I don't know, to me, like, it was like a proving point. Like, it felt so weird, like, coming back, like, bad sex. Like, it just was, But I went back and watched it, and I was like, it actually wasn't that bad. Like, my whole pace and stuff changed. So I was like, all right, I could do this. And the Chris Bay match was because, like, that all just started off, like, speculation. Like, he commented something on, like, a post, and I was like, yo, you need to get this dude. And he was like, I'm down. Let's get him. So we go and we work, and like the thing is, like we we called stuff, but we just like worked in it. Like we just like went out there and just did stuff that we didn't call, and just it just flowed right into things that we called. And I learned so much. Like it was like I call it like a like almost a guy like exposed, but like he showed me showmanship, like charisma, and like working a crowd and different things like in that match. And I was just kind of like, okay, so like he was doing some stuff, and like he would stop and do his shit, and I was like, what? And it started to click to me like, okay. That's why I was like, he gets it, and he's young too, and like he gets like the little shit. So that's the reason why that was the fucking lesson.
He taught you how to finesse. He taught you how to finesse in the crowd.
Yeah, he had a level of finesse to him.
Yeah, that's his thing. It's crazy. Well, yeah, all three of those matches, those are powerful. But I do want to go back to the second one because it means a lot more when you are a wrestler in a mask and you take that off. You, like you said, you feel naked, yes, but it's like, were you like relieved because hiding behind a mask is so hard? And I'm not saying like even now that you're wearing a mask, you're hiding or anything. I'm saying that when it comes to wearing the mask, you're putting up a whole other image, a whole other person, a whole other character away from everything.
It's not you. It's easy to be like, okay, that's not me. So like.
So how did that like feel? When
it was weird because like my mask was off before. Then I got hurt, came back with the mask. But I would cut promo segments without the mask. So like it's not like they didn't know what my face didn't look like, but it was just weird. Like the emotion that came from it was just kind of like, I'm just sick of y'all like not respecting me. I mean, they probably could have been. Like I think I was just getting over like right turn, which made it so much better. But it was just so much emotion there. Like just taking it off, like it was just like, just fuck y'all. Like just y'all don't respect him, so y'all don't deserve him, and y'all just go get pissed off me. Like, so yeah, it was like a point to prove in that. Like I'm still trying to figure out like that character, but like that's all just like raw emotion coming out of that character.
That's awesome. So I gotta ask, because we're me and you both were wrestling fans, and I definitely want to pick your mind in this way. You're playing a heel. What three heels inspired you? Because there's Glorious Gino, there was New Jack. There were amazing wrestlers that pissed off the crowd to the point where they couldn't even sit in the chair anymore. What are three heels that inspired you to maybe hit the same segments or similar segments?
Easy. Walter.
The UK champion, Walter?
Yeah, Walter.
Okay.
Walter. The Rock. And Bionic Redneck Stone Cold. So like the 2001, 2002 era Stone Cold, like that whole run, that Stone Cold.
Awesome. All right. So now I'm just curious about how the crowd feels. You took off the mask, you became a heel. The crowd, you were a face originally. So how was it? Was it hard for the crowd to be like, wait, but we love this guy, but now he's being a dick. Let's all boo him. Was it easy for them to do that?
Man, I don't know, because like it's mixed. Like when I did it, we did it to like the biggest baby face they had there. We all did. So like there was some boos, and so. But the thing was, like, there was really, like, no follow-up or no explanation of why I did what I did. We just let somebody else, the commentators, tell my story, or we'll all day tell my story when, like, I think, like, if I would have told my story, I could have maybe gotten more, like, heat out of it. But the next match we wrestle, like, it's mixed emotions. And I'm like, no. So I'm out there just screaming, like, telling him to shut up, trying to talk shit to some kid. And just screaming, just out there, just spitting emotion. And, like, I don't know, I think, like, in time, but, like, it's, like, a very slow build. Like, shut up, like, stop cheering me. Like, you wasn't doing this back then. I don't need you doing it now type thing. I don't know. It's still, like, a work in progress trying to see.
So, for me personally, I don't know why, but I love the heels in wrestling. I just feel like without them, there wouldn't be wrestling, because there always needs to be a face, always needs to be a heel. You play both. You played both. What do you prefer? Like, if we break kayfabe, if we break, we know you're a heel right now, what do you prefer in general, though? Do you prefer the fans loving you and you always impressing them, or do you prefer the fact that I can do whatever I want, say whatever I want, screw the fans, I'm just gonna care about myself, even if that's not your actual personality?
Um, well, I mean that is my personality now.
All right.
But personally, me, I would like being a face because it pushes me more. Because I have to be more creative coming up, like with things I have to do more. Because as a heel, like I come out of heel matches feeling like I haven't done anything, and it's almost like did I not do enough to shortchange myself?
Mm-hmm.
Knowing as a face, like I got to go out there and push through things. Like I could get blown, but still have to push through it. So it's like I'm working for something. But as a heel, like you have that time to like do whatever, then stop and control the match at your pace. But personally, like I like being a face more.
All right, that's cool. That's cool. It's good to know what you believe made you stronger, being a face or being a heel. And if you be a face, you learn more. You get more, which is really cool. What is one pre-match warm up that you do? Because every wrestler is about to get into a match bigger than the rest, and they gotta do something. Some wrestlers, go to a room, silent, don't want to hear nobody. Some of them listen to music. Some of them do push-ups in the corner. What do you
Yeah.
What do you do before you get into a match?
It's weird. Like I never got into like a routine. Like never. Like most times, like I'm just sitting talking shit. Like I'll talk shit and joke around, and then like I don't know, I just hit the curtain, and it really doesn't hit me till like halfway through my entrance. Like my entrance is me getting into it,
Mm-hmm.
because like I've never been like a fan of getting hype behind the curtain, like like I may pour water on
Being
myself.
that one weirdo, and while everyone's like, getting ready, there's that one guy going, "Let's go."
Yeah, like smacking, like I get it, but then like, it doesn't work for me because then I get all worked up and like I'll be into something, I'll get blown or I'll forget something. So I've never been like a fan of like or been a person to have a routine because I don't like to be predictable and stuff. But I'm pretty sure if you ask somebody else, they probably notice a routine, but I don't think I've ever had like a pre-match
The
routine.
craziest one I heard was one wrestler just calls their mom every time before a match, which I understand, but it's like, if you don't, would that affect you? I asked, like, if you pretend like you didn't call your mom, would that affect you? It's like, oh, big time. So it's like, so at one point, these warm ups, these pre-match routines actually get to people's heads. So it's a good thing you don't have any big ones that make you affected. So, we're down to a few questions, but like our last couple questions are the fact that you talked about, like, if you do a warm up, you might forget something. Has there ever been a moment that you forgot your lines and you like? And I'm not trying to embarrass you. This is just like a funny story. Was there ever a time that you were just like, "Shit, what's my line?" And you're just standing there with the microphone?
With a mic, well, no. But there's been times in promos where I just totally blubbed it and like didn't know what I was saying, so like it'll just cut and do it again. Like I probably have the most cut retakes out of anybody at Raw.
All right.
But there's been times like I've forgotten spots in a match a whole lot. So I mean, there's that.
Have you ever been in a hardcore match, like Extreme Rules, CCW, one of those like I don't want to say
Not
blood.
ultra violent. I've been in like a hardcore match, but not like an ultra violent.
Would you ever do an ultra violent match? That's not the question. Because it's like, I don't know what the pay raise. I mean, I'm not in the wrestling business, so I have no idea what the pay raise could be for that.
There's none. I mean, I can only speak from like my experiences and like being on shows that I've seen with that type of stuff. Everybody's getting their rate. Like, I guess that's up to the person, but I think like the craziest I've gotten was like light tubes. Now that was it. And that was like when I was willing to do that, like back when I was like 19, 20.
All right. Have you ever participated in ladder matches? And if you have, how has that affected you? Since again, you are a bigger guy. The fall is a lot more harder than a regular like a smaller person's fall. Especially the fact that when you're on top of the ladder, have you ever had any like memories or any like aspects in ladder matches?
I'll tell you, I never had a ladder match.
Never. Okay, good. Because I was looking through everything. And I'm like, I have not seen one ladder match in this one.
But I've like people. I've been on shows that had ladder matches, and like I'll tell you right now, like trying to climb a ladder in the ring is hard as hell because you get to a certain point and it's not stable. So like when people get slow up there, like they think just climb. Real life, dude, that shit's wobbling. Like you, you bound to fall.
Bro, I had someone recently. They were afraid of heights and they did a ladder match. So it's like think about that. You know, if you're afraid of heights and you're doing a ladder match, that's like a whole other level of like courage.
Yeah, like you better. I don't know how you get through that unless you just go into somebody else.
Yeah. So on our final question, this is basically just again think hard about it. If I gave you a match, ready? This is the. I just want to end it off here. You know, just to leave it. If I gave you a match, a person, a place, where, who, and when, what kind of match would it be? So this is like you're booking yourself in an ultimate arena, an ultimate venue, whatever you want with the person you want. It could be a fatal four-way. It could be a six-man. It could be anything. Any kind of match. It could be Extreme Rules, ladder. It could be literally tables, anything. What would it be? That's a hard one to just think about. So just think. That's how I want to end it with something like that.
They gotta be alive, right?
Nah, I don't think so. I want you to really be creative with this. They don't have to be alive.
Okay. It will be. Let's go. Yeah, fatal four-way ladder match. Boom. WrestleMania. Actually, no. Yeah, WrestleMania. Somewhere on the. Get down. Somewhere on the maybe East Coast.
Mm-hmm.
Yorkish. Hayabusa, Edge, and 2 Cold Scorpio, and myself.
Wow, that's a good one. That's a pretty crazy match. All right. With that, tell people where they can find you on social media.
Social media, I'm on Instagram. Just type in Mysterious Q. I'll pop up. Boom. I'm on Twitter. Not on TikTok. So
don't find him on TikTok, people.
Don't find me on TikTok. You can find me on Bumble, Hinge, Tinder. I'm on those. I have a YouTube. I mean, I rarely post on there, but I have one of those. It's under Q2.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my dog is. Really...
No, you're cool. Let's show us the dog. Let's see the dog, if you can. Oh, what a beautiful! Wow, it's a boy or a girl?
He's a boy.
Boy. Oh.
Come on, get down.
Love dogs.
Yeah, what were we talking about?
Just you're on Bumble, you're on Hinge, you're on all that.
I'm on YouTube under Q2. I'm on Instagram under Mysterious Q. I'm on Twitter under DA_Mysterious Q. And I'm active on all those platforms.
All right.
So if anybody ever got a question, they could comment something.
He's going to respond at 3 a.m., by the way.
Yeah. After I'm off gaming, I'll check on messages.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being part of the ARWP podcast. We are huge fans. Wow, what an awesome video. If you guys enjoyed that, go look up Mysterious Q on YouTube. He's such an amazing guy. He has such an inspiring story. Such an interesting dude. Go look him up. You will not be disappointed. If you want to support me in any way, all my information is in the bio below, where you can find me on all social media platforms. If you want to support ARWP, please like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you guys next time. Thank you for being awesome.